Okay, great.
All right, awesome. Well, first off, thank you for reaching out. Um, yeah, I appreciate it, and just want to say, congratulations on the ETHZilla partnership and your recent ATS. That's a big deal. So,
Thank you. Thank you very much. We're super excited about it. It takes a long time to close out a round, and we've got a lot of great partners. Don't get me wrong. That are in our cap table, but um, ETHZilla is certainly a great partnership, and um, as far as I'm concerned, everything they're moving into is exactly in line with the things that match with our needs and our desires as well. So it's a very good partnership from our perspective.
good, good. So, yeah, just kind of like a high level overview of where I wasn't really expecting this meeting, right? So I didn't have much time to prepare for it, and I don't want to take up too much of your time. So like an overall vision that you guys have and maybe partnerships you have, market opportunities, and kind of just transparencies and the next steps, and this is considered as very informal. It's on a Sunday, so 20 minutes, whatever.
Sure.
That's fine with me.
Okay. No problem. So, let me go over Coleman a little bit, just because he's going to be
Yep,
the new CEO.
right, yep,
Um, so Coleman comes from emerging market credit. As you know, we're doing a lot in the credit space. So that's very positive for us for his background. Two things that he brings to the table immediately. He has good relationships with the guys over at BlackRock, so we've had a couple meetings with those guys, which
yep,
we hope will develop into something. Um, he also has a very strong tie into the guys down in XP. XP is one of the largest retailers in Brazil. So we would like to explore those contacts because we would love to expand overseas, particularly into Brazil. I don't know if you know this, but um, the largest or one of the largest U.S. denominated assets that's purchased in Brazil is USDC. I didn't know that, and it's obviously from our perspective, that's a complete waste of time to buy USDC as an asset because obviously zero yield. But what
yep,
it does do is it informs us that that crowd or that those investors are already well versed in tokenization, right? Because they're
yep,
long a stable coin. So it's not going to be an education at the end of the day to be like, hey, instead of zero US denominated yield, how about, 10%? That sounds much more positive and fully collateralized and things of that nature. So we feel like that could be a very good audience for us, but we certainly need the access to them, and we don't have the wherewithal to build out, obviously, a retail platform in Brazil and try to market down there, et cetera. So by partnering up with the likes of XP, which again is one of the largest, if not the largest, retail facing um, platform down there, we have the opportunity to expand very quickly. And they would also get economics, so everybody would win. So that's something that we're certainly going to explore in the first quarter of 26. Um,
that sounds like
okay,
an excellent opportunity for sure.
yeah, we're super excited about it. A lot of stuff I can't go into too much detail because obviously we have competition, and I don't want all of our competition following right in our footsteps
Of
and or
course.
trying to usurp what we're doing. But that, I mean, I think everybody in the space has international, desires. So and and we at Liquidity, unlike a lot of our competition, we don't want to be the one and only, and we don't think that we can be, and we don't think that we should be. We don't want to be the one and only ATS, that lists X number of tokens or whatever. We firmly believe that this should be all the ATSs should be listing each other's products, just like sort of the Nasdaq marketplace, right? Everybody
Yep.
sort of makes markets or at least they make their bids and offers, and then everybody can touch each other's distribution channels, but everybody can still make a little bit of margin. Um, we think that's the way to really create a very large, DeFi type of network.
Yeah.
But that remains to be seen whether that's going to take root because it seems to me that everybody sort of creates their sandbox and sort of they kind of want to stay in that sandbox. But we've had some good talks with a number of potential partners, and if they work out, that'll be announced um, very shortly as well, come probably January with other
Okay.
platforms. So that'll be cool.
Yeah, that's great to hear. It's one of the reasons why I'm like bullish on just the whole crypto space in general, is because especially with the rise of AI, I really believe that crypto is like the new trust system, everything's verified on the blockchain. It's, the old saying, trust but verify. And I really believe that's like why crypto is going to be next gen along with AI. And
I am a
so I
huge,
like,
yeah, I'm a huge believer in blockchain. Just so you guys know, I want you to also understand this isn't our first rodeo. So Austin and I were involved in a company that he co-founded. This is the third company Austin and I are involved in together. The first one was called Random Forest, and it was an um, um, AI model underwriting um, platform for student loan credit to start off with. This is, I don't know the exact date, but call it, 10, 12 years ago. That platform was the first of its kind, and it got purchased by Franklin Templeton, and it continues to be run at Franklin Templeton through their credit strategies to this day, which is obviously very cool. And then second of all, so that you guys also understand where our level of expertise in this area, we stood up a company called Token Vault, and Token Vault got purchased by Franklin Templeton as well. And that is as the name implies, is a blockchain company, and it blockchain tokenized the world's first money market fund. That's the underlying tech for Franklin Templeton's Benji product. So this isn't our first go around, and we're very well versed in blockchain infrastructure, and we believe our ability to execute is basically better than anybody else's. So if you look at our tech stack versus our competitors, like a Securitize, um, our tech stack we believe is better. And everybody that's looked at it will tell us the same. So we feel very confident in our ability to drive forward very quickly coming in 2026. Um, I think Figure's tech stack is very good, but uh, you know, we think that we can at least match what they've done, if not overtake them, because they are in one specific asset class right now, which are HELOCs.
right,
And um, we, as you saw through the announcements with Karis, we will be immediately getting into the auto space. The auto space is the second largest consumer finance market in the world. Um, so it's, got plenty of depth, and certainly our ability to enter that market. We won't need to like sort of redefine it. We just need to get in there, tokenize loans, bring them through the process, explain how through the loan tokenization process we can streamline efficiencies and securitize at the back end, all better than the way they're doing it currently with basically paper, CSV files, et cetera. You wouldn't believe how archaic the industry is when it comes to technology data sharing. It literally is a CSV file, which would blow your mind when you're
yeah,
talking about like an $850 million auto loan portfolio and you want to take a look at that thing and it's in a file like that. Zero encryption, like just ridiculous, just stuff that would blow your mind if you dove into the sort of the weeds of that. But look, what Cagney has done at Figure, we believe. Like he wrote in his S1 that he's realized 85 bips in efficiencies through the tokenization process by embedding it into the HELOC process. We believe him. And there's a reason why. For one thing, the proof is in the pudding. He's now the largest HELOC originator in the country. This is an asset class traditionally dominated by banks. And he,
yep,
as an outsider, has been able to get in there and become the largest HELOC originator. So clearly, there are efficiencies to be had in all asset classes, as far as I'm concerned, when it comes to credit origination and securitization. So again, to start, we get into autos through Keros. And then through Zippy MH, we get into manufactured homes. Now, I want to explain something to you guys about Zippy. First and foremost, there's been a lot of conjecture. First and foremost, let's talk about Keros real fast. There's been conjecture about Keros. Keros is a break-even startup company. That is unheard of at this stage in its development. It is break even and will be profitable by first quarter of 26. That's an amazing deal. And if people think that buying 20% of that company at a $50 million valuation is expensive, they've lost their mind. That is about as cheap as you're going to get in the startup business in something that is getting basically put on thousands of auto loan originators desks around the country. So for me, when they got that deal done, I had to convince Aaron, and just again, that people had talked about Aaron and our relationship. Aaron and I went to college together, and Aaron was involved, just so you know, with Random Forest and with Token Vault in those other two companies. So he's a
Right.
successful entrepreneur, successful fintech operator. Um, but this is a very inexpensive way to enter the auto loan space. By being that Keros is a decision making machine learning underwriting tool. So that tool, as they become more and more successful, will be deployed across all auto loan originators. That is to have that type of distribution for whatever they paid. I can't even remember exactly what they paid. That's insane. You wouldn't be able to do it, you know? So this is very much in line with the strategy of saying, okay, we are going to tokenize auto loans. This a lot. You have to think about how else you can get auto loans at scale. You can't call up thousands of auto loan originators and just be like, hey, I got a great idea. I want to tokenize your loans, right? First and foremost,
Yep.
these guys aren't tech savvy guys, right? They are exactly what you see when you go buy a car, okay? When you print off to go buy your car, you get that thing about this long that's printed out
Yep.
on a dot matrix printer. That's those guys, right? So telling those guys, hey, I got a great idea. I'm going to put this on blockchain for you. You might as well be bashing your head against the wall. You need to, but when you tell them, hey, which they're already doing, mind you, they use underwriting tools already, and you tell them, hey, I've got a better underwriting tool for you because it's based on AI. And what I do is for every 650 FICO score that you normally would turn down, I'm going to show you why you do not turn it down because of our data, et cetera, et cetera. That's what Keros does. They expand the ability for these guys to originate loans, which is the business that they're in, which is the car selling
Yep.
business. So by by being able to get in mass these people, even unbeknownst to them, even because we can just sort of have like a disclaimer saying we are putting, because it doesn't touch or hurt them at all. It's basically a different way, as you know, of recording the data that they're already putting into their systems. So instead, we'll put them on chain, and in return, we will hopefully show them efficiencies along the way. And in so doing, we will lower their cost of origination. That's the entire point.
Yeah.
So this for us is an extremely strategic acquisition. And from a ETHZilla perspective, it is a very inexpensive way to buy a company that's going to be cash flow positive in the first quarter of 26. Okay, so that's Keros. Now, if you go to Zippy, Zippy, second of all, is not a shell company by any stretch of the imagination. They're originating already something like, I think, 12 to 15 million dollars a month in manufactured home loans. This is a very big number when you consider the size of the typical manufactured home loan is very small, relatively speaking, to a traditional mortgage. Now, why is this important? It's important because first and foremost, manufacturing homes can be a real game changer when it comes to home ownership in the United States because it does provide affordable housing. I can promise you that this is a good marketplace, and you don't have to take my word for it. You can Google it. How much of the manufactured housing industry is owned by Berkshire Hathaway? You will find that about 60 to 75% of this whole industry Warren Buffett owns completely from end to end in a lot of places. He will buy the dirt, develop it, sell the homes, insure the homes, write the mortgages. the entire life cycle. Why is this? Why does he love this asset class so much? Because there's a very small, if not insignificant, secondary marketplace for trades, and there's almost no refi market whatsoever. So unlike a traditional mortgage where there's always refi risk and there's always, secondary sales, which obviously the mortgage owner uh, does not love, he doesn't get refied out. And if he does, I don't even know if he offers refis. But and then if it does have a secondary sale, he's sort of in control of it because a lot of those secondary sales go back to the dealer, and he is the dealer in this case. And when they do
Yep.
trade, they trade at a significant discount. So what does Zippy want to do? Zippy wants to really expand this marketplace to the point where there are refis, to the point where the secondary trades are with other people rather than back to the dealer, because the dealer trades, again, like I said, trade at a very significant discount to what the people have actually paid or what the value of the property actually should be. So these poor people, at the end of the day, what happens is they get into these affordable homes, but then they can't realize when housing is increasing across the country, they don't realize the increase as much as a
Yep.
normal traditional mortgage owner, homeowner. So we want to help change that. And I think it's very admirable. And not only that, they've been in business for like 3 or 4 years. I can't remember exactly. They have grown this business from zero to what it is now. And I can tell you, I can't tell you who, but I can tell you they turned down term sheets for hundreds of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions in order to work with us and ETHZilla because they believe in what we're doing. They believe that blockchain and tokenization is the wave of the future. And they believe that combined, we can really make an impact in this asset class and expand their business, which we hope will be at least a double by next year this time. So
Right.
that's those
Awesome.
two combined with us. So therefore we bring an auto token and then we bring a manufactured home token. There is a secondary market, obviously, in both of these asset classes currently. So again, we do not have to go out and sort of inform the marketplace or create a marketplace or create demand. There is already significant demand in both of these. The only difference is we will bring them on chain via tokenization, a securitization through our platform less expensively and potentially in smaller sizes than traditionally speaking, which should help the retail investor and obviously will allow institutional investors to sort of pick and choose their size.
Right. So yeah, I'm actually I signed up for a liquidity.io account, and when I was going through, it gave me like two options. It says you're either a business owner or you're an accredited investor. Do you have any plans, or will you have the ability to put on projects that non-accredited retail investors can invest in?
Absolutely, 100%. So we recently just got our approval to offer mutual funds through our platform and through our broker dealer. So as you know, with 40 Act funds, we can offer them directly to retail, and we fully intend to do that immediately. We are already in process of registering one. It's going to be there. Actually, we're registering two. And both of those will be retail facing products. One is going to be just a traditional money market fund, and I will explain to you why our money market fund is going to be better than anybody else's in 1 second. And then the second one is going to be a fund between private equity and private credit. And what we're going to try to do, we're going to try to purchase large blocks, like 10 to $20 million worth of private credit and private equity of names that you have known, have heard of, Apollo, BlackRock, et cetera, funds that traditional retail people would not have the ability to access. We will buy blocks of those, wrap a mutual fund around them, and then offer those shares in bite sizes, maybe shared, maybe $100 or $50 lots to retail investors. We will do this for a de minimis management fee. Probably a few 10, 20, 50 bips. I don't know exactly. I got to sort of wrap my hands around what's entailed for the back end of that, but certainly very low number as far as management. So they will realize the benefits of these very well known and very well performing private private managers. So we're
Okay,
super excited
awesome.
about that. Those are the two. So everybody you read about now is bringing out a money market fund of some sort, stablecoin, whatever. To me, all of this is horrible. Like it's just complete waste of time. Look at what like when you tokenize something, it should provide utility. That's the bottom line, right?
Yeah,
Otherwise, what is the point? Okay. I see stuff like, okay, they're going to tokenize equities. I'm like, okay, I guess, right? I mean, I don't really understand the point. Anybody that trades equities now, they understand that it's a pretty darn, and by the way, I traded equities for like 25 years. It is a pretty darn efficient marketplace for the hours that it's
yep,
open. Mind you, it's not open 24/7, but in the hours that it is open, I mean, I can't really see where you know, that is inefficient. Now, you want to go T0? Okay. Yeah, then blockchain is probably the only way you can get to T0. That I do appreciate. But let's be perfectly fair about this. I mean, if you are a daily investor or a long-term investor, if you're a long-term investor, you could care less about T0, right? You just
exactly.
don't
Yep,
care, right? Now, if you're pulling the trigger and you're a day trader or whatever, then yeah, T0 probably. But at the end of the day, if everybody else is constrained by T1, it's really kind of not that big of a deal. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And I do know I have a good friend of mine that works at the New York Stock Exchange, and he just told me they plan on going 23.5 sometime next year, maybe the following, but that's their plan. Their plan is to go 23.5. So if they go 23.5, I mean, what's the difference between T0 and T1 at that point, right? Who's going to define that? Like to me, okay, if you go 23.5, I don't even know what T1 looks like, right? Are you going to have a
yep,
time shut off or you know what I'm saying? Like, so I guess to me, the market is just already so darn efficient. Yes, is there custody? Yes, yes, there is. I agree. Are there transaction costs? Yes, there are. Prime brokerage, et cetera, et cetera. But some of this stuff isn't going to go away, period. Right?
yep,
I mean, you look at the custodians, like Bank of New York, like, you think they're going to let their custodian side go away? It's the largest piece of their business. There is no way they're going to let that go. They're going to
yeah,
find a way to gate that in some form or fashion. Um,
yeah. You have to choose your battles, right? And it's like,
yeah, you have to choose your
you know,
battle. Choose where it's really going to make impact. 85 bips in a HELOC. Hey, man, you're talking about real money now, right?
yep,
That's very impactful. If you're talking about from a 9%, borrow to an 8.15, hello, that's a lot of money, right? When you're
yep,
talking about maybe $100,000, $200,000 loan, that's significant money. So it's like, yeah, that's efficiency, man. When you talk about tokenizing a money market fund, I'm like, to what end, right? It's the most liquid product that's out there basically already. Okay, T0, great. What am I like? I gave this example to the guys at BlackRock. I'm like, you guys have built Biddle. Great. It's $3 billion. Wonderful. Does it transfer into fiat? No. Does it transfer into anything that is better than Biddle is? And by better, I mean stronger counterparty. Let me give you an example. It's Friday night at 10 p.m. I am long $5 billion of Biddle because I am the corporate treasurer of Cisco. Okay. I hear, because I'm multinational, I hear of some issues that we're going to have between Hong Kong and China. Okay. I hear this because my people are over there. They tell me, hey, this is happening. So I go, I'm going to unload everything I have. Let's go to cash. Okay. I sell all my money market funds thinking that there's going to be some sort of havoc that happens over the weekend. It's Friday night at, what did I say? 6 p.m. Friday night, 6 p.m. I sell everything. It's Biddle. It's 6 p.m. I'm able to transact. I sell Biddle. I get what in return? USDC. Great. I'm long USDC now. Well, that is worse. I'm in a worse position than I was before. BlackRock is an $11 trillion asset manager. USDC has what? $70 billion? Guess what they're both invested in? US Treasuries, supposedly. Okay, what have I done? I have A, stepped in front of, with $5 billion, I've stepped in front of everybody else that owns Biddle. So BlackRock is now long my $5 billion. USDC, I'm going to pound that thing first thing Monday morning into into cash. So I'm going to pound, they're going to sell because they're not going to stay long. And everybody else is going to be either behind me or in front of me. BlackRock's going to be in front because they're long that 5 billion, they're going to sell. USDC is going to sell. I'm going to sell my USDC. So I've doubled the size for sale and I have a worse counterparty going into Monday morning. It's a terrible trade. Terrible. So to me, these money market funds, until they provide some real utility, which they could, and I am trying to help, like, give them, me and Austin are trying to give them a pathway to show them where they can actually provide true utility with their funds. Until you see that, you're not going to get people to buy into it. Like, look at the size of Biddle. I think it's 3 billion, and like, I don't know the exact number, but I guarantee you 50+% of that thing is owned by their portfolio companies or insiders. So it's just
Yeah.
basically home cooking, right? So, which is fine, but 3 billion, like, who cares? What's the point, right? What are you ripping on that? 10 bips? What a waste, right? Like, it's just, it's not worth
A
your
lot of,
time. It's not worth your
yeah, a
time.
lot of equity tied up for not much. I mean, we saw the money market, raise drastically during a lot of the unknowing of what was going on with the high interest rates. People were taking risk off the table, but risk is about to come off the table. And when it does, um, yeah, you don't want to keep your money there.
No, I mean, look, I just think that we can utilize blockchain in a real way. And the way we're planning on doing it, and the instruments we plan on developing, and the infrastructure we plan on laying down, the pipes and rails we are going to lay down, it is it is next to nothing else has been built like the way we want to build it and the way we can now deploy it because of the investments that ETHZilla has put down and the ones that I hope they continue to go after, because that to me is the wave of the future in finance.
Right. So just kind of circling back to the actual your platform,
Hmm.
liquidity.io, not to make it a pun, but like when do we expect to see some liquidity on the platform? Because like I went on there and just, I can't buy Ethereum. I really I really can't buy anything, or the order flow doesn't, it looks to be all zero other than a few of the select funds. And there seems to be a couple of, a handful of actually investments on the platform right now. But when will we start to see, more liquidity?
Sure. No, I totally get that. Um, so we are finishing up paperwork with BitGo. So we should be signed with BitGo within the next day or two. And we've been working on an integration with them. So they will provide us for the front with their front end to trade crypto for all of our clients. That will be retail facing, like you brought up.
Yep.
So that will be probably our first retail facing opportunity. We hope to have that deployed, Chris, by January.
Okay.
Um, the other thing that we are standing is a private secondary partnership with a well-known broker dealer out of New York. We basically created a white label platform for them. I don't know if you ever transacted in the private secondaries, but like pre-IPO like SpaceX or OpenAI, um, this company does a lot of that business, and we're standing up their platform for them. In that, we will cross list between what they have on their white label one and what we show on liquidity. So whatever they put up, we have the option of listing on our platform. That also, God willing, will happen in January as well.
Okay.
So
Good, good. That's,
everything's right around the corner. And I realize that you might have heard that from other people, but we truly believe we will be able to deploy by end of January latest.
yeah, it feels like things are right around the corner when you have, extremes on both ends where people are really ecstatic and then people are really upset. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
you know it's about to happen because you have the patient people that aren't patient and the people that have been through this many times and they're like, this is how it goes, you know. As
Yeah.
soon as sentiment turns, it's like it usually takes off.
Yeah. We're extremely excited about it. And look, I know there's a lot of noise around ETHZilla and that's why I reached out to you because I was just like I wanted to clear the air at least from our perspective on what we bring to the table and what we're
Yeah.
doing. And people are talking about, look, they paid X um for their 15% of liquid of Satschel. And I'm like, man, we closed our round at $100 million. If you look at what figure market cap is, it's $7.5 billion. If you look at where
Yeah.
Securitized is coming public, they're coming at 1.25. Like, buddy, you are not going to find a platform as developed as this with the people that are working on it and the support that we have in the pipeline that we have for $100 million. You're just not like it, and not only that, the trade that McAndrew and his guys put together is a very good trade for ETHZilla holders. It was $5 million in cash, but it's $10 million in stock, which is restricted, and I still can't trade it. And
Yep.
so I can promise you, and he did a lot of the same trades with Karas and Zippy. What he does by doing it in stock, he firmly aligns us with getting the stock up. So if anybody out there in the whatever you want to call it thinks that we are not aligned to move this stock higher, you are insane. The only thing we are trying to do is row to get this stock up. A hundred
Yep.
percent. Every transaction you see us, I announce everything that you see, everything that we do. Karis, Zippy, Liquidity, Satchel, we are 100% aligned to move this stock up. So, and it's in all of our best interest because all of us are long it, and every day it goes down, it hurts us as much as it does the investors. I can assure you.
Oh, of course. I think sometimes um, you know, it's like the short term versus the long term view. And I think maybe a lot of the like retail investors are more used to the short term, but obviously your guys' background, especially being in private, you're thinking more long term. So I think that's some of the disconnect there. But um,
Well, we're
yeah, I've
not
been,
looking crazy long term. I promise you, we want to get going. I promise. Like we absolutely understand we have a limited window here before the floodgates just everybody jumps into this marketplace, right? Everyone.
yeah,
So we are doing our utmost to get going and running as quickly as possible. The ETHZilla investment certainly gave us the capital to sprint for the next 6 months. And so that's what we're doing. We loaded up on engineers. Um, we are we're but these guys are basically working 20-hour days and we're sprinting and we're doing our utmost. I have a great thing that I can show you. Do you have another second?
yeah. I got plenty of time. I just didn't want to take up too much of your time.
I want to get this out so that you got, you can tell your people too that, the stuff that we're doing. But this is cool. This has never been done before, and this is Satchel technology. I'm going to run you through a quick demonstration. This is
Okay.
this is a an NFT that we're creating in collectibles and anything with value. But it's starting in collectibles with eBay and one of their largest sellers. Let's see if I can do this.
While you're pulling it up, I will say when I signed up for like liquidity.io platform,
Uh-huh.
and I know you guys do like KYC and you have that kind of space.
Yes.
I was very impressed with like how seamless how seamless it was to get all the verifications for being an accredited investor and doing the face print and all that stuff. It was, it was top tier with just like any other seamless experience that you would expect from like going forward with that. So I was like very impressed with how far along that was compared to like the the platform itself kind of still seems like it's in beta. Like you said,
Yeah.
January things are actually going to start rolling out. But that part of it was great. So
Nice.
you guys
And
are doing a good job.
I can tell you exactly why that is, Chris. Simplicity, which is that platform that you saw. So we have two platforms, simplicity.io, which is the compliance side, and the liquidity.io, which is the broker dealer ATS transactional side. The simplicity side we developed because when you do an orchestration of KYC, KYB accreditation platforms that are available to you currently online, you run into cost around 25 to 50 bucks for us to onboard a person. Well, we can't afford that, right? A, you're not going to pay it as a user, so we can't pass it along to
Yep.
you, and we can't eat that cost as a startup. So Austin, because his chief background is engineering, he engineered that entire product from the ground up. So now our onboarding costs are like $1. And
Nice.
that obviously puts us into play. But that is the most mature product that we have, which is why you saw how great it can be when we have time to develop things to their utmost potential. Okay, so here is I'm going to run this real fast. It's 7 minutes, but I'll speed through it.
All right.
Can you see it?
Yep.
Is it playing? Oh. Then we're going to try to identify it to have it found, and then another sheet of blank paper to have it not found. So we're going to begin. We're just going to call it literature. Item name will be paper one. Eric will own this. The item here is going to be P001. Okay. Gonna go ahead and grab this image. It's gonna be a big old sheet of black paper. Um, so all right, we're submitting for authentication. Third-party authenticators will verify the item as being authentic or not. And once it's been authenticated, okay. And now it is complete. So now we're going to go ahead and feature print this. And we're going to take 4 different images at different zoom levels. We'll start with the horizontal. Ideally, we'd have different lighting for this, but it's going to be consistent lighting for all the matching. So for these purposes, it should be okay. And just to make it easier to line up later, I'll have some of the pieces off the edge so I can line it up later. Like so. And we'll grab that picture. That's one. We'll do a small square. Zoom in like so. We'll do the vertical zoom. And we'll do a large square just so we have some options in here. Okay, so at this point, we've gotten 4 different features that we can use here. And this was for sheet number 1, which will show with the identifier. We're going to submit for feature printing. This will take anywhere from 15 to 30 seconds. And once it's done processing, it should flip over to the history page. And then at that point, we can choose the menu option to start identifying these. All right, so it is done. So what we're going to do here is we're going to identify. And I think we call this one P001. Okay, so Chris, watch this. This has never been done before in collectibles. Search, that'll give us our background image.
Okay. And we'll go ahead and we're going to try to identify item number one. So basically line this up with our overlay. And we're going to run the identification. And we should find a match. And we did paper one, and there's the print date of today at 5:35 UTC. We're going to go ahead and try a different blank piece of paper. This is going to be number two, which we did not feature print. We're going to go ahead and, like we did with the other one, line it up. And white sheet of paper, same orientation and line up, but this time we should find no match at all.
Wow, that's
Is
impressive.
that cool or what, man?
Yeah.
Try sheet number one again to make sure there wasn't a spoof, but that's sheet number one. Again, we're going to line it up with the overlay.
Was it a different type of paper? Like, or
No,
was it
it's
just
two white pieces of paper off of his copy machine. That's it.
wow?
Here, now watch this. I'll fast forward a little bit. So it found it, as you can see, it identified it. Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is an Amazon gift card.
And line up our $50 card there. All right, so we can find the Amazon card. We're going to line it up with the overlay like we did before. And we're going to run the identification.
This is really cool with the gift card.
The Amazon 50 that we found.
I'll give you a little story after he goes through this.
Earlier,
okay.
A little earlier in the day. And just to compare, we're going to take our $100 card, $100. Again, we're going to line it up so it lines up with here. And although the print job and everything else is the same, the feature print will show that in fact it is a different card. So we got that lined up. Take the picture. Run the identification, and this time we should find that it did not find anything. So although the two cards look very similar, it was able to differentiate between the $50 card and the $100.
Yeah. So we are announcing on Monday. You'll see it. I'll put it on. We'll put it on social media and LinkedIn. We're announcing a deal with a company called Primetime Sports, which is one of the largest collectible sellers on eBay, and we are going to do a partnership starting in January. And we will do that process for every single thing that they go witness to sign. And they're one of the best and most recognized authorities in witnessed signature deals. And so basically, they will have their table, and you'll have sort of like your star athlete doing the signatures. And then that will go over to our table, and we will scan it and enter it. And so what do? We take Primetime Sports has now certified this thing, so they witnessed it, literally witnessed it. There's a certification to that end. We take that certification, we take the actual item, we digitally fingerprint it the way you just saw. We put that on a layer. We put it on Arbitrum for ETHZilla because they're our partners. We put them on a layer 2 ETH. That NFT now truly is a digital representation of a real world item in a way that has never been done before.
Yeah.
So we will get revenues by doing that transaction. We will get revenues when we verify in the future. If there's a trade, like let's say they sell it through eBay in the future. Now, when you receive your item in the mail, you'll get the app, you'll verify it to ensure that it is actually that real item. And so therefore you have a very good, you have 100% realization of the provenance of that item for sure. Like it's definitely not a forgery. It is what Primetime Sports certified. Very clean. We record the change of ownership on the NFT. The NFT now goes to Chris's wallet. Guess what we have? We have another liquidity.io wallet holder.
Yep. That's awesome.
And this guy does hundreds of thousands of signed items a month. So
and that's the big risk in the space. It's like, just like I said, crypto is going to be the new trust system.
That is the point. This this enables you for the first time to truly believe the collectible is real. To me, as a potential, I don't own a lot of collectibles, and this is why. Because I don't know about the provenance of these things, right? I
Yep.
have no idea. You can tell me it's a rookie Jordan basketball card. I'm like, I mean, it looks like it is, but is it?
Yep.
Like, so
Exactly.
unless I see it coming off the factory itself, and I know that they are sending it to me. And even then, man, like there's so much fraud out there and there's so much money involved in these things. Like it just to me, this is the only way. This is the only way you can certify a real world object and put it on blockchain and then be able, and because you're able to verify it with 100% certainty, this is the system, and this to me is the system that every single person will, at the very least, use in collectibles to start. But you can
Yeah.
see how it can go into every other aspect of stuff that you need to have verified in perpetuity. Art, you know, anything. This thing can do gold bars, right? If you own gold and you're concerned that, where you're vaulting it, maybe they're switching it out, which, I mean, let's be fair. Who knows what they're doing? You're not there 24/7, right?
Yep. Yep.
So, I mean, this has that potential for everything. Every real world object we can put on chain. And so that data will reside together and it's unbreakable, encrypted forever. It's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tell me your story.
Yeah, it's just a quick one. So our local like co-op grocery store, they do a little Christmas drive. So we went to the tree, we picked one off. This little 12-year-old girl wanted a PlayStation gift card, right? So she could go play her games or buy Roblox or whatever. Um, so yeah, go to walmart.com, we try and order a gift card. Doesn't work. So I was like, oh, maybe it's just this is a brand new credit card. I got the new Robinhood credit card, 3%. I'm like, awesome, let me try this thing. Doesn't work. And I'm like, okay, maybe Robinhood's like, oh, we're not gonna give you 3% on a gift card. So I tried my Fidelity card. Doesn't work. Um, so then I was like, well, obviously you can't order gift cards online. And I mean, I guess it's kind of a dying industry, right? Like, who goes online to buy gift cards? You just get the digital. But in this case, we needed it. So we went to GameStop and talked to them about it. And they said it's a huge avenue for scams buying gift cards online.
Huh.
So we
I
ended up
didn't know
just
that.
we just ended up buying the physical gift card at GameStop. But yeah, that's what they told me. They were like, well, people order these gift cards online, physical cards. The cards come, and then there's just nothing on them.
Huh. Amazing. That's
So I
amazing.
wonder if I don't know if it's like a dying industry, right? You know, because a lot of times you just go online, you get the digital code, you type it in somewhere, but um, that could be a potential avenue, you know, maybe a small
Absolutely.
one.
Well,
Just
look,
seeing the
go ahead.
just
Sorry.
seeing the gift card, just seeing the gift card made me think of that little
Right,
story.
right. Look, we've developed a ton of products on the simplicity side. Like, there's a lot of Zelle fraud, right?
Oh
That's
yeah,
documented. We have the ability to end Zelle fraud, and we've shown it to the large banks. We've shown all of them, and we are like, look, you can use our biometric similarity in order to ensure, like, I can't demo it because I don't have it up, but Austin could. If I was going to send you a Zelle, it would prompt you to send back your face to me via the app or just via mobile text. And so your face would pop up, and I know it's your face because we make you move your head side to side in a
yep,
manner that's random. So you would get a random ask, and then it would send it to me, and that way I know your phone isn't being spoofed, which is very possible, which is a lot of why the Zelle fraud happens. So we showed this to them, and we're like, this is not a big deal for us. We could care less, but you guys are losing $700 million last year to Zelle fraud, and you're getting raked over the coals by Congress about it. They didn't care. That's the bottom line. They were like, well, they haven't, or at least they didn't. Maybe it's just because we're a small company and we're a vendor and they don't want to deal with us, but no one tried to deploy it, which to me is crazy. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I think it's a they don't care yet
Yeah, true,
because
true.
just I mean, I recently just served jury duty, and it was like a African Ugandan kind of romance scam
Uh-huh.
type thing. But it's like I really do believe if because a lot of the transactions were Zelle and some of them were like Western Union, MoneyGram type things, but that could have prevented all of this if this guy who's gotten romantically scammed sent the money to said counterparty. They have to verify their face. I mean, it just makes sense, even if they had to pass the cost onto the consumer. I would pay 50 cents, or
Absolutely.
I
Of
would I
course.
would I
Of
would pay
course.
the small percentage to realize that, like, okay, this is legit. And I think obviously I'm part of the younger generation where I'm more comfortable with digital and all of that. But for a lot of the say my grandparents, they're in their 80s. It's like, okay, they want to still go to the bank, but like if they had some of these protections, they would feel better about moving a lot of their stuff digitally.
Yeah, absolutely. Look, we can
So
provide
it
it.
could be an avenue.
Yeah, our infrastructure that we built on the compliance side is second to none. Our second largest investor is a company called Telos, which is a publicly traded cybersecurity company, TLS. They are one of three pre-check TSA pre-check providers. They invested $3.5 million into us because of that side of the platform. We didn't they the liquidity platform wasn't even standing. So the products we've developed with them, um, that is all on the security side. And that only benefits our users on the liquidity side because there's not going to be any fraud on our end for sure. Like
Yeah.
everything's biometric, everything's encrypted. Like you're not going to break our system. That's not a challenge, mind you, but I'm telling you, like it is tight.
Yeah. Well, that's good to hear. Um, Let me review my notes. I only had a few things written down. I think we covered a lot of them just in discussion. Can you touch base on like the 1 billion that you guys got in the letter of intents and
Sure. Sure. That's all included in the Zippy manufacturer. So Zippy manufacturing, they do 150 a year right now. So
yeah,
we have an exclusive to tokenize all of those loans. Um,
okay, yeah,
Kara, Karis has a number of standing programs where they are, like I said, the underwriter on. So we will be tokenizing, hundreds of millions of dollars in the auto loan space. We we do have agreements in the SBA space, but we kind of put that on hold because the SBA is very difficult to deal with. It's not their fault by any stretch. It's just, um, I think their budget got slashed, and then they took on, I think the student loan program, the federal student loan program. So when you call them and try to get them, it's just very, very difficult to um, to get them on board. What I would like to see, we've built this really slick system for SBAs. So a big part of that, not a big part, but a couple hundred million of that billion is in the SBAs, which we can do in at very, very quickly, but we still need to connect with the SBA. The point about the SBA is I'll tell you a story about the SBA, which I bet you certainly didn't know because I certainly didn't know it. And that is when you securitize SBA loans, which is great. I'm glad they do that. It's a $56 billion business or $56 billion marketplace. They they physically issue you paper certificates still to this day.
wow,
Yeah, yeah. I blew my mind when I heard that. Blew my mind. So if you think that there's a bottleneck in the SBA, there's one right there because there's a limited amount of people that actually print certificates anymore, period, in the United States. So they are clearly constrained by the amount of certificates they can get out the door. Um, and then they have there's a lot of like I don't want to be negative because I love the SBA. I love the program. I want to see it expanded. Um, there's just, inefficiencies at the end of the day in the entire process. And the problem being what happens is because the process is long to securitization, the holding period
Yep.
for the people that buy the loans, which are essential to get, the loans going. So people buy the loans, they have to sit on them for an undefined or like they're not positive how long they're going to have to be long these things before they can securitize them. The demand for the securities is high because they're government backed.
Yeah.
So you're buying government backed paper at a higher rate than what treasuries are trading at. So everybody's going to buy it, right? There's no shortage of demand for SBA paper. The problem is getting the paper to them. In this case, actual paper. So, it's really too bad because I think that if we could help them, um, man, we could double the size of the SBA. Literally, um, I think within like a month. And there is
Yep.
no shortage of lenders who want to lend against SBA because again, government paper. I mean, government backed, right? So think of how many people we could be helping if we could just increase the efficiencies of that particular administration. Like that would be to me very cool. Um,
Yeah. I'm somewhat familiar with the process because I'm based out of Wilmington, North Carolina,
uh-huh.
and it's actually home to Live Oak Bank, which is like one of the biggest SBA providers. I think they're the number one lender in dollar value right now.
Oh, nice.
Just a small bank, but they kind of went focused their energy, and that's where they did. And I knew a girl that was part of that process, and it seemed like the loans took, you know, like you said, it was a slow process.
Yeah.
Obviously, for their protection, but their efficiencies could be had. I definitely remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's you limit the number of lenders who want to lend against it because the holding period, because that holding period really, really eats into their margin because and then potentially it could get them upside down, right? If that thing strings out to 90 days, you're holding X number of loans on your balance sheet for 90 days when you thought you were going to turn them in 30. That's a big number, right? 60
Yep.
extra days of interest is a lot. So um, I think that we can help, but it's not our focus right now because of everything else that we have going. So and then so one of the other things that we're going to bring very quickly in January as well is a thing we're calling the Aero token, AERO. This is um, going to be a very high yielding um, credit instrument based on aircraft engine leases. This will be brought directly from ETHZilla. ETHZilla has partnerships and affiliates who are along these leases. These things normally yield in the high teens. So you're looking at a mid-teen yield for a token that's backed by basically, I think, if I remember correctly, Delta Airlines is the counterparty of those leases. So very
Right.
strong counterparty um,
Yep.
and existing leases that we'll put on chain and offer out to what I hope could potentially be retail, but certainly accredited and institutional investors.
Right. Awesome. Yeah, I'm excited for what the future has to come. It's the short term's been a little painful, but I've been
Well,
trying to convey to
yeah,
everyone that yeah, this is a growth period. The market doesn't know how to price this. This is brand new. Um, you know, essentially, hey, get in while you can. You
yeah.
know,
I think, I mean, just for my 2 cents, looking at the stock and I'm not on Twitter like barely at all, but the guys from Eastdilla pointed out some of the things that were happening. So I kind of read up on it. And there's a lot. Again, this is just me speaking. I certainly do not speak for ETHZilla by any stretch of imagination. This
yeah,
just comes
of
from
course.
my experience from 25 plus years trading stocks and being an investor myself. When the market will not reward you for what you're doing in your regular core business, which in this case was treasury, which it clearly did not and has not rewarded them because you're trading at a discount. you either fold your tents up and go home, which is you could either declare a dividend and just pay out all the cash and liquidate your entire position, pay a dividend and roll the company up, which would be a real shame because you've gone through the rigmarole and the expense and things of that nature. You can buy back stock, but what happens when you run out of buyback stock, right?
Exactly.
You can't do it forever. And if the market continues to hammer you, it's I read about this death spiral and all this other stuff and things of that nature, and I don't even want to go into that stuff because I don't know all of everything that happened with respect to financing. But this is what I can absolutely assure you of. If you liquidate your core positions in order to buy back stock and it doesn't work, and by the way, I can make it a foregone conclusion as a large investor that it won't work. I can sit there and short your stock all day long, watch you liquidate ETH. As you buy it, I sell into it. If I'm
Yep.
large enough, and I don't have to be that large in a $200 million market cap company, buddy. I
No, you
can
don't.
I can be a regular sized institution and just sit there and hammer all day long. And the more you buy and the more you liquidate, the less you're worth every single day if I sit there and lay on it. And you
Yep.
will eventually go to zero because if you sell your entire ETH holdings and buy back stock, eventually, and I sit there and short into it and it doesn't go up, then eventually your stock is worth zero. Except unless you take on what ETHZilla's guys have done and you buy portfolio companies which are essential to the ongoing infrastructure and growth of the tokenization business, which is what they have done and what they are doing. So, from my perspective, as a holder of ETHZilla stock, they're doing everything exactly right because
Yeah.
if they were sitting there selling $100 million worth of ETH to go buy $100 million worth of stock, I would be that would be the opposite of what I think they should be doing as a long-term investor or a long-term holder of ETHZilla. Because that to me is you're selling, you're attempting to do a very short-term recovery by trading out your long-term potential.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't want to see that, especially not in a mass quantity, right? I don't want to see them sell their ETH. Of
Yeah,
course not. That's the backbone of
right.
where a
Correct.
lot of the value is, right? It's kind of a security blanket. Like, okay, I'm bullish on ETH. I mean, if you just see what's going on, it's like ETH, in my opinion, is going to go up.
Of course. Look at what we're doing to help it go up. Just
Yep.
as a tokenization play, everything that I just described will be on Arbitrum. Everything. All those
Yep.
loans, all those transactions, every single time. And I haven't even gone into when you do servicing into that loan, that's a transaction. We're all of these transactions that feed into the process, all on Arbitrum. Think about that. We're talking
Yep.
again, the auto loan market space, trillions of dollars. If we get Zippy up to 300 to $500 million by next year, think about those transactions. Okay. All of that. Think of what I just showed you in the collectible side. Every single one of those things, every item, every NFT on Arbitrum. Okay. That's going to
Yep.
be, if we do our job right and this thing takes off the way I think it will, and you just saw it, this is standing, this product is ready. Think about how many collectibles we could potentially have on Arbitrum this time next year. You're talking millions,
Yeah. For
millions,
sure.
right?
It's a big
So
space too.
it's a huge space. And we bring the credibility to ensure that your collectible has a provenance forever. Man, that's a game changer. Like, who's not going to do that for 50 cents or whatever?
Yep.
Everything we're going to charge is very, very low. So, look, the pathway is very clear. People just need to hold tight and understand this is a buying opportunity as far as I'm concerned. Again, I speak for myself. I personally am long ETHZilla. And again, my company is long it. So every time it dips like this, I think it's a buying opportunity. It's not,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to give advice or anything like that, but you know what NAV is on this stock. And now in what I'm trying to convey is you have three portfolio companies who basically provide a roadmap for you to get to multiple billions of dollars in valuation, in my estimation, just by holding those companies.
Yep. Yeah. The future's bright. for sure. I mean,
Absolutely.
I see it. That's why I'm dollar cost averaging in, you know. So
Yeah, I
uh
mean, to me, to your point, I don't want to see them sell their ETH. Like, stay
no.
long that thing. That is literally your war chest, right?
Yep.
So what we need to do is get the stock up through performance. And now they
Yeah.
have portfolio companies that are going to perform for them. And that's what we need. So to me, there should, we need liquidity needs to execute. And we fully intend, you see the products that I've shown you and described you. We will execute for you by January. In
Okay.
January and moving forward. You will see
Good.
liquidity bring product. You will see us driving revenues for you. That plus Keros plus Zippy, all of will drive revenues for you guys.
Right. Yeah, so I saw a couple of the products on there were through the Polygon network.
Uh-huh.
So like how is that going to work? Does ETHZilla just have like, because from my understanding is they had like rights on L2 for Ethereum.
Correct.
So what's going to happen to those other projects? Are they just kind of grandfathered in that you have
Yeah,
on the
those are just
platform?
grandfathered in.
Yeah.
And let's be fair, like as you've seen, those are relatively small projects. So
Yeah.
it's okay that we leave those up in on what they're built. But things that ETHZilla has their hand in going forward, which are, they have a lot of connections through their board and um, into some very, very cool projects, like some maritime stuff, which I can't really go into because I don't know all the specifics of, but they've described to me. They have extremely good connections into the real estate space. We haven't even dove into, Chris, the stuff that we're talking about with respect to title in utilizing blockchain, but we're talking to a very large title company to offer blockchain uh, title tokens. There's just a world out there of where blockchain can truly provide utility, and we can make a few pennies here and there, but those add up very quickly.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Well, I don't, like I said before, I don't want to take too much of your time. We've been, what, talking for about an hour. So,
Yeah,
it's good to make this connection for sure. Thank you for reaching out.
my pleasure.
Uh, yeah.
Thank you for accepting and thanks for setting it up. And listen, I don't want to say that I want to make this a weekly thing, but if we have issues or you want to reach out to me, you're welcome to do it anytime. I want people to be comfortable with what we're doing for ETHZilla. Um, I have a pretty good understanding of where we want to go and what we're doing.
Yep.
So from that perspective, from my perspective, I'm always willing to speak about Satchel and liquidity and simplicity.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So what would be the best way, like if I do want to reach out to you?
Yeah, hit me on LinkedIn like we did.
Okay.
Okay. I'm always
Okay.
on that. I'm
Awesome.
not on any other social media.
Yeah. 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 I'm kind of, of the opinion it's like we got to let these operators operate, like, and do their thing. We can't be bugging them, play by play, kind of like
Right.
you were saying. I do wish Miss McAndrew was a little more transparent in his goals, right? Because I think that would clear up a lot of the confusion. So that's why I appreciate you reaching out and just talking. I tried to reach out to him, and they essentially said, "Hey, you're too small of a holder. You only own 1%." And I'm like, "Well, I own 1%, but
I hear you. I hear you. Look, I
yeah,
can't speak for him. I know that they're busy. They're super busy. Look, they've gone through these acquisitions, and they're scrambling just like everybody else, right?
oh,
They're
of course,
they're not
yeah,
psyched by any stretch of the imagination with the stock action. And so everything they're doing, I know a number of the board members, look, they're not happy. They want this thing up just like everybody else,
oh,
and
of
it
course,
it boggles their mind to see it trade at a discount at the very least to the NAV. And so I promise you this, like I know that they're working hard and they're working every single day to try to get this thing moving in the right direction.
Yeah, it's in the best interest of everyone, including themselves. So,
Absolutely. Look, like I
um,
said, I can't speak for them, but if any time that you want to speak to me, I will definitely try to make myself available. As we, especially, let's let January run through its course, and I can maybe give you an update, into the new year, first quarter.
okay, awesome. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, well, nice meeting you, and we'll be in touch.
Okay, take care, Chris. I'll talk to
Yep,
you.
you too. Bye.
Okay, bye.